Meghan's puppet? Harry being stripped of his title discussed at the highest levels. Greetings and a gracious welcome to the World of Royal Staffs channel. In a new bombshell book set to be released soon, senior aides at the palace allegedly made jokes about Prince Harry being a hostage of his wife, Meghan, and discussed stripping him of his Duke of Sussex title. Veteran royal writer Robert Jobson wrote the book, which also reveals how some officials believed that Meghan was the driving force behind the fallout with the royal family. These officials even went as far as blaming Meghan for Harry's demands to have her join him in Scotland, which didn't sit well with the rest of the family. The royals' battles against Harry and Meghan were laid bare in a serialization of the forthcoming book, Our King, Charles III, in the Daily Mail. It seems that King Charles is not in favour of axing Harry's royal title and has an enduring love for his son, even though he made the decision that Meghan should not accompany Harry to Balmoral when the family gathered after the Queen's death. The King is saddened by the widening gulf between him and Harry and wishes he could see more of his grandchildren, Archie and Lilibet. One source claimed that Harry's demands did not go down well with the family. They were all shocked by his behaviour. This included Prince William, Prince Andrew, Prince Edward, and Sophie, the Duchess of Edinburgh, who arrived at Balmoral 2 hours later than planned. According to the book, Prince Charles had grown closer to the Queen in her final years and even sought her advice. He wanted to spend his final days with her at Windsor Castle, and after Prince Philip's death, the Queen turned to Charles for advice more and more. The book reveals that the Queen drew great comfort from the fact that both Charles and William were well qualified to succeed her, and that the birth of Prince George had helped ensure the continuation of the monarchy. The Duke of Sussex was flown by helicopter to Balmoral Castle the following morning, where he joined Princess Anne at their mother's bedside. The prince knew that the defining moment of his life, at the advanced age of 73, was fast approaching: the death of his mother and his accession as king. He was advised to return to Balmoral immediately and reached his mother's bedside before she died at 3:10 p.m. The new book by Robert Jobson paints a picture of Harry as being disrespectful and causing rifts within the royal family. It seems that even after his departure from the family, the effects of his actions are still being felt. The book raises questions about the future of the monarchy and whether or not the royal family will be able to heal from the wounds inflicted by Harry and Meghan. As the sun began to set over the sprawling Balmoral estate, the new King Charles III and his queen consort made their way back to their residence, Birkhall. They had just spent a few hours with the family, but it was hardly the reunion Charles had hoped for. 3 of his brothers, Prince William, Prince Andrew, and Prince Edward, along with Edward's wife Sophie, had arrived at the estate 2 hours too late. The reason? A disagreement with Charles' son, Harry, over his wife, Meghan. According to close sources, Harry had decided not to fly up to Scotland with his uncle and brother after an argument with the family over Meghan. Some officials even went so far as to claim that Harry was a hostage of his wife and that palace insiders would make jibes about Harry being a victim of Stockholm Syndrome. As Charles dined with just Prince William that evening, it was clear that the rift between him and Harry was deepening. In the final years of their lives, both the Queen and Prince Philip had grown closer to Charles and seen him more often, but it was no secret that the relationship between father and son had been strained at times. However, those who knew Charles intimately insisted that the notion that the two had been at loggerheads for most of their lives was outdated and inaccurate. They had grown to understand each other's point of view and enjoyed a relationship of mutual respect and affection. Despite this, Philip had always found it easier to bond with his tough and resilient daughter, Princess Anne. But as Charles spent more time with the Queen, he became a trusted confidant and advisor. In her final days, the Queen turned to Charles more and more, relying on him to take her place when she was unable to carry out engagements and seeking his advice. She was comforted by the fact that both Charles and William were well qualified to succeed her and that the monarchy was secure with the birth of Prince George. After Philip's death, Charles was by the Queen's side for the Platinum Jubilee celebrations, culminating with her appearance on the balcony of Buckingham Palace. But as he looked out at the crowd below, he couldn't help but think about the growing divide between him and his son. The Right Rev. Dr. Ian Greenshields, the moderator of the General Assembly of the Church of Scotland, reminisced about a dinner and lunch he had with the Queen just the weekend before she passed. He shared how the Queen was absolutely engaged in good conversation and even joked around with him. But it was the image of her leaving the room holding a cross that would be forever etched in his memory. As Charles ascended to the throne, he made no major changes to the royal household in his first 100 days of reign. However, he is known to be planning some changes soon. One of the things he has done is merge his Clarence House staff with the late Queen's household. But some of her team members are finding it challenging to adjust to the King's way of doing things. They can no longer rely on saying, "But that's how we have always done it," as Charles and Camilla are making subtle changes. Camilla, in particular, is taking the lead in starting the staff merger ball rolling. She has already begun making some changes, like producing a mission statement for staff. However, some have complained that it makes working for the royal household very corporate, like a hotel. William, too, has already started streamlining his own team, planning to employ fewer people on his staff. For now, Charles and Camilla still live at Clarence House, with Charles commuting most days to his offices at Buckingham Palace. Neither of them is in a rush to move in permanently. As the new king, Charles is taking his time, carefully planning out how he will lead and rule the monarchy in his own way. Prince Charles has always been a doting grandfather to William's children, whom he affectionately calls his Grandpa Wales. According to an aide, the young ones absolutely adore him. Among them, Prince Louis, who is about to turn 5, has developed a special bond with his grandpa. The future of 9-year-old Prince George is already mapped out, and Charles seems to be aware of that. He has made sure to reserve one of the grandest titles for Princess Charlotte, currently known as Lottie to her mother and Mignonette, cute little thing in French, to her father. But despite his careful planning, Charles is deeply saddened by the rift that has developed between him and his youngest son. In an effort to bridge the gap, Charles has expressed his desire to spend more time with Harry and Meghan's 2 children. However, some blame Meghan for the fallout, ignoring the fact that Harry seems to be the driving force behind everything that has happened. At the highest level, there have been discussions about stripping Harry of his Duke of Sussex title. Although the king is not in favour of this, other senior royals are less indulgent. Charles, despite his enduring love for his son, will come under increasing pressure if Harry continues to attack the monarchy. By now, the king will have to choose between putting up with the spreading stain on his reign or taking action to limit its scope. Either way, it is clear that the ongoing drama between Harry and Meghan is causing a deep divide in the royal family, and it remains to be seen how this will play out in the years to come. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's video as much as I did making it. Keep being amazing, and I can't wait to catch you all in my next one.